Hey guys, today we are going to talk about a dreadful serial killer of the world. This killer was very different from other normal killers, and he had spread so much hatred that no one could control it. There was a killer who used to steal girls' undergarments and used to do very wrong things with them. This killer was also known as BTK killer. B for bind, T for torture, K for killer. This killer is still serving his sentence in the correctional facility in El Dorado. And the punishment is not once or twice, but 10 consecutive life sentences, meaning he has got the punishment of 10 lives in one life. A killer who lived with his face, which means on one side he tried to become an axe, and on the other side he committed crime. So without wasting time, let's discuss the case, Dennis Rader BTK killer. Dennis Rader was born on 9 March 1945 in Pittsburgh, Kansas, in a middle-class family. Dennis's parents were William Elvin and Dorothea May Rader, who were very hardworking. Dennis also had 4 brothers, out of whom Dennis was the eldest. Dennis's childhood was pretty normal, but within him, a scary and terrifying tendency was developing. Dennis used to say that his parents were very busy and did not pay attention to him, due to which attention loss gradually started developing in Dennis. Many other fantasies started developing in Dennis, and he started liking many strange things which a normal person would never like. One of them was animal cruelty. Slowly he started liking it, and he started enjoying watching animals suffer. Initially, he used to enjoy watching animals suffer, but later on he started tormenting animals. I have a question. Have you ever helped your suffering animals, or are you also like Dennis, who enjoyed watching animals suffer? Do tell me in the comments section. As Dennis grew up, his fantasies and his excitement also increased, but he never let his family or his friends know about it. How did Dennis keep this secret hidden for so many days? And till then, he never let his neighbors know that he was becoming a psycho. In 1971, Dennis got married to Paula Dietz, who was a religious and simple woman. Both of them got married on the same campus. Dennis and Paula had 2 children, a son and a daughter. They named their son Brian and their daughter Brian. Dennis played the role of a loving and caring husband along with his wife, and his wife had no idea what kind of a person Dennis really was. Well, how did he even get to know what kind of a person Dennis really is, because Dennis has never said anything to anyone in front of his wife and has never harmed anyone. Dennis lived a disciplined life in his regular life. Dennis was very nice with his children, behaved with them, played with them, and spent time with them. And the most shocking thing was when his daughter said that my dad is a normal dad. Now you just think, the Dennis about whom we knew was a psycho, but here Dennis is totally different. After all, how could a psycho person remain normal? Until here, Dennis was very famous in his society. He used to talk with everyone with acts, and also used to help everyone. And because of this, everyone used to respect him. And this was his face from one side, but nobody knew about the face from the other side. His real motive was something else. But what was his real motive about this? I will tell you the age of the video. Main duty Dennis used to work in ADT security service, in which his work was to install security service system. But this job was very important for him, because after doing CHL his age, this job was going to help him a lot in crime. Dennis used this job to stun his victims and to understand the layer out of his house. Dennis was an organized person. He used to know all the details, and his habit of being organized was clearly seen in his personal and crime life. And Dennis liked to keep a record of every little thing and every smallest detail. And this was about Dennis. Now let's talk about the crimes committed by Dennis, which he has committed till now. Dennis committed his first crime, or first murder, on the 15th of January 1974 in Sovichita, where Dennis and his wife lived. There also lived another family whose name is. There was Otero family. In that family at that time, 38-year-old Joseph Otero was the head of that family, an ex-Air Force officer. 35-year-old Jolie Otero was Joseph's wife, and his 9-year-old son, Joseph Otero Jr., and his 11-year-old daughter, Josephina Otero. These 4 people were his family. They lived in the same house. Now Dennis's eyes were on this family, and then Dennis keeps an eye on them and stalks them and understands the layout of their house. As he understands the whole process, Dennis names them as Hunt. Finally, can there be any MTLV? Please comment and tell us the name. On 15th of January 1974, during the morning, When Dennis made a plan to enter the Otero family's house, he kept some means with him. That could be anything, so that he could enter the Otero family's house with their help. Now Dennis enters the Otero family's house very quietly and secretly, and when he was about to enter the Otero family, Dennis saw that there were 4 members in their house. And when his wife turns towards Dennis, Sid brings out his gun and tries to control them. Dennis has a criminal record, and the Otero family is very rich. And before this, the Otero family panics, and before that, Dennis tells me that I have not caused any harm to anyone here. I have come here to do a normal thing, and I want some of your money in your car. After hearing all this, the Josephs say that, okay, you take all this and don't do anything to my family. Whatever you want, you can take it. We won't do anything. Now Dennis binds all of them under a roof because of Kersey. He has many different things with him, and one by one Dennis starts torturing the Otero family. Everyone was crying and screaming, and Dennis loved tormenting and watching them suffer. And when he was watching the Otero family suffer, he enjoyed watching all this. The most interesting thing is that here Dennis had completed 2 steps. B for bind and all, B for torture, which Dennis was torturing all of them. Now he was about to execute his 3rd step. Now Dennis goes to Joseph Otero, who was the eldest in the house, and now Dennis is Joseph's son, and starts to press his neck and presses so hard that Joseph did not even have breath. He was struggling a lot to breathe, but he did not have any oxygen, and due to lack of oxygen, Joseph Otero dies. Now Dennis goes to Jolly and repeats the same process which he did with Joseph. He kills him with the same torture as Joseph killed Otero. Dennis enjoyed this work a lot. Now Dennis goes to his son Joseph Otero Jr. Dennis takes out a plastic bag from his bag and puts his head in it, and tries to kill him with great force by tormenting him until he stops moving and tormenting. Now in the end, his daughter Josephina's Dennis killed these teens like a normal murder. Now you think, if he killed these teens like this, then how would he have killed his daughter? You can't even imagine how badly he was going to do to her. He was not going to kill Josephine by simply strangling her or using a plastic bag. He takes her to the basement. He starts torturing her a lot there. Josephine starts screaming, begs for life, is yearning and pleading. But Dennis was not going to be affected by all these things. After torturing her too much, when there was nothing left to torture, Dennis thought it better to kill Josephine. And Dennis goes to Josephine and tries to kill her in the same way as he killed all his family members. Dennis tries to choke Josephine so hard that she has trouble breathing. And the same thing happens. He does not open her throat until she does not open the pain, and after some time she also says goodbye to this world. Dennis kills Josephine, and Dennis throws Josephine's corpse on the ground with the basement pipe. Dennis tried to clean up the crime scene and remove all the clues, but Dennis did not go empty-handed. Dennis took some of Josephine's items, such as her personal items. All these were like trophies for him and were his crime memories.